everybody! This is Safi and Marco Dish Out on the Movies. And today we're reviewing Daredevil, Fear Factor, House of Fear, Season 1. No, Safi, it's Soy Factor, House of Soy. Am I going to talk to myself for this whole review? No, because Safi is sitting right here. Safi?
Is this really going on?
Yeah.
Okay, well this is the very first season of this show. It's the last episode, number 10.
Yeah.
And the name of it is called The Final Endgame.
I'd like to nickname this episode The Final Soy.
So, we have 4 people left. Boy, girl, which I think that's nice. You know. We have Rob and Jaylene, the pretty boy and pretty girl couple.
Yeah.
And then we have Chelsea, who's recently divorced, and she has 2 children, and she works with autistic people. Which I don't know what that means, but that's what she said. And then we have Ethan, who we've been calling Machiavelli because he said he studied that in school. However, he's only 20 years old, so...
Yeah, no, he said studied in college.
I know that, but he's only 20.
Yeah, so maybe he's still in there.
Smart, I was going to say he would still be in college.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it sounds like they all need the money. And
yeah,
they made little comments about what they would do with it.
Yeah, that's how they started the episode. Yeah. And, of course, that's where you get to the infamous quote from Jaylene, where Jaylene... She basically talks about her villain origin story, where she's like, I don't... Go ahead, Safi, you can say it.
She said, and I thought she kind of looked familiar in a way, and she says, I want to prove to myself I'm not the Kardashian of the family.
Well, you call yourself Knobby Knees, so that's pretty Kardashian, so...
So, but... whatever that means, she does kind of look like Kim Kardashian used to look like. I'm not sure what Kim looks like now because she's kind of changed her look a few times. So, but she does kind of look like her. And so I don't know if that's why she says that or not. But I guess her family doesn't really take her seriously. That's what it sounds like.
And you know what? From watching this show, you can definitely see why. Because through all the challenges that she has, gone through, and she's persisted, like with eating the pie when she's a vegan, she spent the entire season, admittedly manipulating a guy so that he would keep her safe. And to me, that's a bad look, because Chelsea never needed to do that.
No.
She would ask for protection, like, on and off for, like, in-games, but, like, she didn't cozy up to a guy so she would get protected the whole season.
No, she didn't.
But that's what Jaylene did. And it's sad, because maybe Jaylene is a good person. Maybe she... which I'm having trouble saying without laughing.
Well, she did say she wants to donate to some animal welfare agencies. Maybe shelters or no-kill shelters, which is a good thing. And another thing, I just thought in total with all of these people, except I don't know about Chelsea. She's divorced. She has 2 kids, so I think she's more grown up than the rest of them. I guess Rob is older too, because he made some kind of comment. Did he say something like I'm 20 years older than...
I don't know.
Than Ethan, so he has this like youth advantage to me. But they all kind of are naive about the money. It's $200,000, but it's going to get taxed. In fact, we were just discussing that before we started.
Yeah, that's something that people never talk about on these reality shows. Maybe they're even told not to talk about it.
Could be.
But, like, realistically, like, just how much of that $200,000 are they going to get to keep?
Right.
Because of the government.
And you got to wonder, too, because I had told Marco that like The Price is Right, if anybody's just familiar with the show, they watched it at some time in their lives. When they stand in line to be a part of the show or try out for the show, I think they make us some kind of paper saying they're aware that they're going to have to pay taxes on whatever they win. And if they can't afford it, they shouldn't even bother.
Yeah.
So I think, so it could be that, and I don't know if this is true because I've never heard, like Marco said, I've never even heard, after, I've watched all these reality shows, I've never really heard anybody talking about it, except for this other thing, the Price is Right. So I don't know if they tell them, or they have them sign a paper.
Probably.
I would think with this kind of show too, with all the stunts they do where they could get injured.
Well, obviously they have to sign stuff.
Yeah, they have to sign some kind of waiver. But for as far as the taxes, I don't know. So if anybody knows the information about that, the answer to that question, let us know.
And before we get into the episode, because Safi's having a nervous breakdown, we need to quickly mention a very intelligent viewer, which all of our viewers are intelligent, especially this one. He brought up that Dildo. Remember Dildo last episode? He was doing a little victory jog, and he was like, "Bye, guys!" And then all of a sudden, he was like, "Ah!" And he stopped. And he was holding his ear.
Well, he was messing with it.
There was blood coming out, and they said there's a cricket in his ear. He had to go to the hospital. And this viewer has suspected that was fake and it was a stunt. It was made up to get views. And looking back, it kind of I will give Dildo the benefit of the doubt that was real, but I would not put it past these soy TV producers that they faked that for views, because this is Soy Factor, House of Soy. And that is something that they would have to do to get views, and I think Dildo on his Instagram, he did this video where he talked about how, I guess they killed the cricket, supposedly, they killed the cricket, they took half of it out, and then the next day an ear doctor looked at it, and he took the other half out, and I don't know, like, I have trouble believing that that they would leave half of a dead cricket in someone's ear. Like it doesn't really make much sense to me. And but looking back too, I never thought about this until after our review, I think, but the syringe that the paramedic inserted into his ear, it might have had fake blood in it, because that could have been an easy way. I don't know, though. I really don't know. I want to believe that it was real because, it would really...
Well, he could have done something to make his ear bleed. In other words, when he grabbed his ear, he could have scratched it or,
No, I don't think so, Safi. But
well, I don't know.
This viewer also brought up, why did he only notice it, when he's on the victory lap, going home? Why didn't he notice it as soon as the cricket got in his ear, or any time? He didn't notice it for minutes and minutes and minutes. And you guys have to remember too, the show is edited, so we don't even know how long it took from Dildo getting off of the stunt to Dildo running home. We don't know how long that was that he, quote-unquote, didn't notice something in his ear. And you would think if a cricket is in your ear, you would probably notice it for as soon as it happens. Because the cricket would be like, "Get me the fuck out of here! What the fuck is this? Is this some fucking dildo's ear? Get me the fuck out of this place! I'm not on the Fear Factor!" It'd be really pissed off. Rightfully so.
They don't do anything. It's just a little bug.
Well, yeah, and so
I've seen them. They're small.
To me,
they feed them to little animals at the store, like geckos or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we all love geckos, and I made one actually. I've made one out of clay, and it's pretty good. But anyways, that is our little conspiracy theory about dildo. And Johnny even says in this episode, he
did address that.
He says dildo is fine, and he wants you guys to go on
and do good.
Which, to me, I would have thought that dildo would just say like he hopes that Ethan will go on and win because that's his friend. Like, Ethan, I hope you win, buddy, so that when you get out, you can buy me a beer. You can give me 10,000, for something special. I don't know, but anyways.
Well, Marco and I did we predict that Ethan would win, or did we?
We both just said that
we
wanted Machiavelli to win because out of these people, to be honest, like he was the one that I rooted for the most.
I like Chelsea though. I thought she was a strong person.
Well, she got better. She was one of those fly under the radar contestants.
She was.
And Rob, he was actually really likable through the season, but then he became a bad guy, and he just turned really sleazy, and it didn't really feel like he had good reasoning for the decisions that he made, which is contrary with Zach, because everyone said Zach was a bad guy, but all the decisions that Zach made total sense.
Well, he didn't hide who he was.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And Rob does. Rob did.
Rob is and what they do, they call him a snake and all this, and he did have some regrets. Yeah. Because he may not really be like that in real life, but he
probably not.
It's hard to say. These people, when they get in front of a camera, they start acting out in a certain way that they mean. It's kind of like a Halloween when you put on a mask and you become another character.
Yeah.
When you're in front of the camera, sometimes these people can become another character and not really who they are in real life, interacting with people.
And I think they tell you too. They tell you to overact.
Yeah, they do. That's another thing that they might do because it causes and that's the thing. Another I wanted to say too. I've heard about Survivor over the years. Now, it could apply to some other reality shows, but since I was watching Survivor for many years, they said that certain things have been, some of the former contestants, it says sometimes things were manipulated.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean it did happen, but I've heard the accusations.
There's a very, very controversial thing that happened on MasterChef. If Safi remembers Leslie, who I think he was one of the more underrated contestants of the series. Remember Leslie?
No.
The guy with the long gray hair who was like a house husband. You don't remember that guy?
Not right now, no.
The guy with the girly hair. Well, he and the stripper girl, they made cakes, and the judges accused him of putting salt in his cake instead of sugar, and rumor is that he actually put sugar in the cake, and the judges just wanted the stripper to win. I can't remember if he was going, there might have been one other person besides him and the stripper, but the controversy was that he did not really put salt in his cake because he went on a podcast and he said he did not remember putting salt in the cake. He put sugar in it. I think they even had him taste it, and I think he had to pretend that it was salty or something, but that was really bad. That was MasterChef a long time ago. That was the season where the stripper won. But anyways, on to Fear Factor. The last contestant that we should go through is Jaylene. She has not really been likable since day one, because the very first thing that she does on camera is she says that she's gonna flirt with this guy so that she can get ahead. And we all know people like that in the real world. You know, we all know Jaylene's. And so no matter any times where she tried to be likable or anything, all of it got overshadowed by just the bad taste that she leaves in your mouth, you know, the whole season. Like, and there are a lot of cringe moments with her, too. And then, of course, attacking the fans on Instagram, that's not a good look, you know, no matter if they like you or not. So anyways, on to the finale. The very first challenge was boy versus boy and girl versus girl. You want to talk about it, Safi?
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, the very first one is they're addressing the fear of drowning and the fear of fish with teeth. And I could ask this other person I know of, I can't do it now, but they call them alligator gars, G-A-R, gar, and then more than one gars. And then what they had to do was they had to go into this tank and full of water, and these they're big fish. And I've heard, I think this is the fish, I could be wrong, they have them up like in Lake Superior or maybe up even farther north. And they have teeth. They have really big teeth.
Yeah.
But I have never, this isn't like piranhas in the Amazon. These are alligator gars, and they're really big. I mean, you have to have these huge hooks and special rods that can take a lot of, is it tensile strength or something, where the string that they use, the line has to be extra strong because these fish are gigantic and they have the teeth. But I've never heard of anybody being worried about being bitten by a gar. And I'm sure these are those, I'm going to have to look it up, but
I guess they just look scary.
They do look very scary. Their teeth are very big, but it's just like, I mean, the way you fish for them is so different from like trout or salmon or, you know, any of these other crappie, I call them, and bass, you know, all these other like game fish, which a crappie is not really a game fish, really. And then a catfish, which isn't really a big desirable fish. But these things do have big teeth. So they kind of, I guess they counted on these people being naive of the fish, and so they're scared of them. The thing they had to worry about was they had to hold their breath. So there's a hole at the top of the tank, and there's some space beneath the hole. So it's not just like there's no way they can get at completely under the water. I mean, if they don't want to. But there's a maze down below, and there's a screwdriver attached to it somehow, and it was a very long maze. Yeah. So the boys go against each other, they're first, okay? And then the girls go against each other, and the person who loses is out of the competition. Yeah.
So you having allergies, Safi?
Yeah. So
okay. Well, I'll explain the rest while you're recovering. So, because for some reason I'm not having allergies right now. But anyways, you have to get the screwdriver through this puzzle, and then you have to unscrew the top. That's literally all you have to do.
It's very long, though. It's almost the whole side of the tank.
You have to not get bitten by the fish, and I guess they really thought that the contestants were so soy that they wouldn't think that they would think that those fish were going to get them and try to eat them or something, as if they would risk that liability, right. You know. Like, oh, what are they gonna let the fish bite Rob's you-know-what off? Like, I don't think that's gonna happen on
I think he
Fear
said something,
Factor.
though. I think Johnny said something. The the host, he did say something like that. Watch out for your whatever. I know he kind of worked around
That
it.
would have been pretty hilarious, and then of course Jaylene would react, and she'd be very upset. But anyway, because that's, and by the way, that's very Kardashian of her. But anyways, I just gotta say before we talk about who wins and who loses, I thought that both challenges in this finale were kind of trash. They were kind of lame. This one in particular, I mean, a lot of the challenges of this season, if you could even call them challenges, I mean, I guess it's a challenge to hold your breath underwater, but at the same time, these were like backyard Fear Factor challenges. Like, this really felt like, hey guys, we can have Fear Factor at home. And you go out to the backyard and it's like, oh look, we have a dunking tank, and there's a fish in it, and there's like a puzzle, and you have to unscrew the top, and isn't that going to be hard and scary? And so I really, to be honest, I didn't like either of these challenges, and I really felt like there were two huge problems with this finale, or actually three. Number one, there was too much reality show fluff. There was all this fluff with hearing about the contestants, like the emotional kind of stuff, like, I miss my family, and I just want to get some money so I can get a door, and all this kind of stuff, and we'll talk about that. But like a lot of reality show fluff. And the second issue I had was that after this whole season having this House of Fear, there's no payoff to having that House of Fear. There's no payoff with any of the alliance stuff or any of the quote-unquote Big Brother elements. It's just straight up, there's two challenges and that's it.
Yeah, you see them packing,
yeah,
and then they say goodbye to the house.
They say, bye Fear House, it was nice seeing you.
And then they showed all these scary masks of different, like, the way they made them, they were all like different types of scary items that were all over the house. Like, bye. It didn't mean anything,
It didn't, because it's like, oh, it's just some stupid house that, these people sat around talking about alliances in. Like, okay, so can I protect you if you protect me? Okay, so who are we going to send into the end game? Like, it basically...
That was all BS.
Instead of the House of Fear, it was the House of Soy. Just like I've said the whole season. And then the last big issue...
I did like the house, though. I liked the house.
It's a pretty house.
The beautiful scenery was just unbelievable.
It's a nice house, but you'd have to worry about security, of course. And especially nowadays, you have cats running around trying to kill you everywhere. Like our cat, he tries to kill me all the time, In the morning, I'll wake up and all of a sudden there's like a scratching at my door. And then he comes in, he's like, meow! And it's like, that's pretty scary. So, but the last big issue is that, okay, if you're not going to play with the House of Soy elements that you, for some reason, added to Fear Factor, well then, it at least has to be a good finale. And this is not a good finale at all. It was really lame. It didn't, finales are supposed to feel like the big culmination of things.
Well,
and they're just not good at finales anymore, like with TV shows.
An Amazing Race, they've had some pretty good finales, and they do at the very end where somebody, the winning the winning couple, it's usually a couple, two people, and pair, whatever, depending on who they are, some kind of problem might happen and they might not make it. The people who are really winning, they may get next to last because something happens. But at the end, they have all the contestants will be lined up along the way as they come running in, like all along, so you get to see all of them. and then they all congratulate them and everything, and they'll give them the check or pretend the fake check, the big check. I don't know, the novelty check. That's what they call them, and it was very quiet. You just had these the two people that at the end that were left. First you had the 4, and then you had the 2, and then you had Johnny, and then whatever they did in their challenge, the implements, and that's it. It was actually really quiet. That was kind of weird. There was no hoopla, no fanfare. It was just really, okay, it's over.
It was like a fizzle out. It was like a...
It fizzled out.
It was like this. It was like... That's what this finale was like. It was like, what?
Except the person who won, that person says, I don't care. I got the money,
My name is Machiavelli, and I won $200,000, and I'm going to get to keep all of it. That's probably what he said. That's my impression of him, which I'll continue to do that throughout this since we'll never see him on TV again, unfortunately.
Probably not, but you never know. But
the soy cast of House of Soy.
But anyway, the thing is, they had to get the thing with the screw is there was this little piece, and they had to unscrew it at the top, and there was a big. It looked like a nail, but it's a big screw, and that when that's loosened and pulled out, then they can push open the top of their tank, and then they have to press a red button, and it makes an alarm sound, and so and every time you put your head up at the top, you're losing time, and so they were all really good actually about holding their breath underwater and going through that maze, because you could not do it otherwise. There was no way, and you had this thing where you had to kind of prop yourself up on the sides to keep yourself down to be able to do the maze, which means that's another thing that you're doing, that you're holding your breath, and then you're doing this maze all at the same time. So that was challenging to hold your breath. But the fish, so I'm not even mentioning a fish because they just swam around. There was only one instance where one of them got in the way of, I think they were trying to unscrew I don't know which one it was. I think it was the last pair, was trying to unscrew the screw at the top with the screwdriver to get out. And the fish kind of got right in front of the person's face, and between them and the looking at the screws, so that made
the fish literally didn't do anything. Like, to me,
I didn't think so.
I think it would be funny if they did like a parody on like American Dad, which I already talked about in the last video. They did a great parody of reality shows, but the fishes, they have these faces where they always look like they're really angry. And you'd have to think like, these fishes are just swimming around like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is there some fucking person in this fucking glass cage with me? What the hell is that person doing? Like, the fishes are just like swimming around like, what the fuck is going on in here?
They were probably taken out of some gigantic tank and put into this cramped little tank where they're swimming around these people.
Why am I here? It would be really funny. Because, just to think, like, if you're in the mind of those fishes, like, why would you be there? Like, they have no idea what's going on. They don't know about this. This is a show. And by the way, I think that, number one, the challenges should have been a lot better. Number two, they should have done something with spiders or something. I don't know.
The spiders bite.
I know. Well, that's the point.
Well, I know that, but some people might be allergic.
Oh, no.
I don't think no. I don't think that.
Well, if you're allergic, then that means that fear is a factor, so sucks to suck. So, Rob lost, and Jaylene lost. So they got to they got to walk home together as a couple, holding hands. You know, Jaylene even says, or no, wait, no, was it Jaylene or Rob who said, you know, we came here and we built something very beautiful together. And it's like, yeah, okay.
I didn't even write any of that down because I say BS to that.
We built something very beautiful on this show, you know? Like, I originally started flirting with you because I wanted to, you know, help make you protect me the whole series, you know, because I couldn't stand on my own 2 feet. And then, oh yeah, there was that one time where Jaylene said Rob had to take her out on a date, and he took her to like this dark room, and he had like a bottle of wine so that he could, you know, get drunk with her and do other stuff off camera. And then, you know, later on in the season, you know, I thought it was really beautiful, like where Jaylene said, you know, on national television, I gave you mostly everything. You know, I mean, that's just, to me, that is hashtag couple goals, you know.
I don't know. I didn't pay any attention because I don't think it's real. You know, and you know, I've watched.
Well, it could be, but like I've
watched Survivor. I've watched Big Brother.
That doesn't matter.
I've watched Amazing Race.
That doesn't matter.
And there is so rarely.
That doesn't matter.
A couple that gets together.
That doesn't matter.
For good. I mean, they've had a few.
You could say that for any relationship.
But they've had more. The relationships I've seen, I thought they were more enduring. I thought this was all fake from the start to the end.
Well, and I think that's sad because instead of making it really cringe, maybe it's the way that it was edited. But
well, that's true too.
They could have shown some sort. It would have been nice to see like a romance in this season, and to see like, oh, at least they got that. And then,
I don't believe it.
But like,
I'll believe it when I see it. I just don't.
I've seen like on The Biggest Loser, there have been couples from The Biggest Loser to come out, like of the show.
Really?
And they're still together.
It's very rare.
They did they did some sort of like because they did a documentary on The Biggest Loser and how it was so terrible, but before that they did an article where, you know, they had all these former contestants and they're all fat again, you know, because they destroyed their metabolisms, and they showed that like 2 of them, they're still together, you know, because they became a couple on the show. So anyways, before we get to the final end game, the soy game, there were a couple of funny soy lines in this episode. Safi did not catch them.
Maybe I did, but if it's about that couple,
okay,
I just ignored it.
No. Machiavelli was talking to Chelsea at night, and you know how usually the saying is, let the best man win? You know, like, it's not a sexist saying. It's like a general saying, like, one small step for man, one big step for mankind. Let the best man win. Well, Soy Boy Machiavelli, he could not handle saying that. He paused himself and he said, let the best Fear Factor contestant win.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was so cringeworthy. It reminded me of like in X-Men, I think Apocalypse, where Jennifer Lawrence is like, it shouldn't be X-Men. Maybe it should be X-People or X-Women. Or something like that. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Like, you can't just say, let the best man win anymore. Like, these people are so soy that, like, I know that, like, she's a girl. Like, she's had 2 children. She could probably have 1 more, maybe. And, but, like, the saying is, let the best man win. And to me, I thought that was really cringe. What do you think, Safi?
I noticed that.
Here's the microphone.
I wondered why he did that. And I thought, it sounds like he was being extra careful, like he was afraid of something, like...
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? He could have... I don't know, maybe he shouldn't just said it at all, but it's okay. it's no big deal, but I just thought, I really thought that was odd, too.
Yeah, it was like he hesitated. It was like he's like, okay.
He did hesitate.
Let the best fear factor contestant win. And she was like, yay! And I thought, ugh.
She's not.
Let the best man win.
She's not overly worried about stuff like that. I don't think she has more things to worry about.
She talks about she's got to pay her bills. Like, do you really think that she's going to cancel him if he says let the best man win?
She wouldn't do that. That's what I'm saying. She was more of a realist in terms of everything than I think the others. All of the other. If you want to just talk about the end, where you have 4 people, out of the 4, I think she was more real about finances and contestant winnings and.
Well, but this is like why the pendulum has swung so far to the other side, is because you live in a society where you have to be afraid of what you say, or else what? I don't know. But, like, you can't just say, let the best man win. Like, they're so soy that they can't even do that. Like, she wouldn't care.
No, she wouldn't
and
care.
It's a general saying. That's what you say, let the best man win.
Yeah, she was a very strong person. And
yeah.
And she just had gotten divorced. And she's been going through a lot of hard reality, and she has the bills, and so I mean she's not a dum-dum. She's not a dummy. She doesn't care. Well, I doubt if she cared about anything like that. Now, if he said something nasty about autistic people or something, that's another thing, but not this. So yeah, I thought that was odd. What was the other thing? Did you have any more?
Well, it comes after the winner wins. It's a line from Johnny, actually. So when we get there,
the final stunt is called, which is really hilarious, Mother Trucker, which I thought that was, and Johnny was wearing a really nice suit jacket and a bow tie.
Yeah, he looked like he was in Las Vegas.
And he was all dressed up. So anyway, I didn't know when I saw these, and I was thinking about a movie. I think it's probably, I know, it was Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. I think it was the first one where it might be the first one, maybe the second, where they have to run on top of the train.
That's the first one.
Okay. Yeah. And, well, they had these 2 semis, huge ones, like the real big. They weren't short. They're really long. And what they had to do, they would sit. Now, there's a semi-driver in each one. They're not driving these semis, okay? They're driving, and then you have to get out. When the air horn goes off, they would have to climb out. And each person has their own truck. They're going side by side. In fact, they're connected. The 2 trucks are connected by a net. And
Netanyahu?
Yeah, and that war criminal. Anyway, and they have to balance, make sure. I mean, they had to be careful. Ethan actually lost his footing. They have to climb along the side of the truck, and it has a special climbing thing. It wasn't that sturdy, the bottom of it. And then they had to climb into the back, and there's all these empty boxes of all shapes and sizes. And I mean, it's full. And in one of the boxes, well, I'd say halfway full, okay, of these boxes. In one of the boxes, a random box, is a set of keys. And so they have to go through all the boxes, and they can just shake them and they throw them out the back door. And then when they get the keys, which it took them a little while, and they're going against each other, it's a race. They have to, let's see, what do they do next? They climb to the top of the truck, and there's a net in between them, and they have to go climb over, and they have 2 2 boxes, don't they? Or they have 1 box? No, they have 2 boxes full of money. And so they're attached to the net, and then they have to disengage themselves from the net as they get to the other side, to the other truck. And each has to open a box with a key on this key ring that's full of like 50 keys. They have to find the correct one, open up the box, and the first person who does that wins. And so it's a race, and Machiavelli wins. So she made it to the other side. She was going through the keys. He was just a little bit faster, and he won. So
I gotta say that challenge was lame as hell.
Well,
and also just before we forgot to mention that Rob was very upset that he lost that last challenge because he's a diver. So it was ironic that he lost. Well, I think Rob would be happy he didn't have to compete in this challenge because it would have reminded him of his accident, having to do that with the trucks and everything. I don't think he would have liked that.
He really badly broke his leg at one time. And this is like his biggest fear because it's made him, what did he say? Let's see if I can find it. Well, it just made him, it said, he even had a special quote. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't know. I can't find it. But
well, at one point he's crying and he calls himself a daredevil or something. He says something about how he's a daredevil.
Boy.
I think Rob could actually be an actor. I mean, he has like a traditional actor look to him, so he should try to act. I would hire him. Did you hear that, Safi?
Yeah.
I would. You get $50 a day, and you get McDonald's.
He said that. He said the accident had really set him back mentally, just about everything.
Yeah.
And he learned, but in the show, from being in it, he learned that, quote, fear is 99% mental. And then he said, there's this quote that he kind of hung on to: the treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. Which I thought was interesting. So, but he didn't cry in front of everybody. I think he cried in like his little, when they go into their little private place and they spill out what they really think about everybody and everything. So,
well, too bad for Rob. I guess he couldn't make it out of the dunking tank because I'm the one who won. And I beat Chelsea. After the whole season, I protected all the women.
He didn't say that.
No, that is ironic, Safi, that the whole season
oh, I know.
He prioritized protecting the women in the house. And what do you know? He beats her pretty easily. And it's almost like, oh, well, he probably... and this is something I didn't even think about. They wanted the women to last so that... because they thought maybe they'd be able to beat them easier. What do you think of that, Safi?
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very misogynistic, but it's also kind of a reality.
It's not what I would have done. I'm not saying that.
Well, it's a reality in terms of... I'll just say the people who participated in it, okay? The previous last week challenge where they had to hold on by their hands. Remember, Chelsea did not have to do it. She was the only one, right, who didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of arm strength.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Jaylene didn't have to do it either.
Yeah.
Because she had won the other challenge.
Yeah. So both women didn't have to do it.
Both women didn't have to do it.
And if they had to, they'd be in deep shit.
But holding on to the handles of that thing, they had to do it for so long, and pretty soon they were completely hanging. And if you didn't have the arm strength, which I don't think either one had, compared to Guido and Ethan. And that's why I was a little bit worried about this final challenge, because I thought if there's anything where it's they're going to need a lot of arm strength or something, that it wasn't. It was really basically figuring out two puzzles, actually. They were puzzle challenges, because the first one you had to do a maze, but you had to hold your breath underwater. And I'm not bringing up the fish, because I don't believe that was a factor at all. And then the other thing is you had to figure out the keys, and that means going through every one and trying to find the correct one. So those were really more like puzzle challenges, really. And that's probably why Merkel thinks they're so lame. I mean, there's nothing wrong with puzzle challenges at all.
Well, it just looked like a backyard Fear Factor challenge. And then the final challenge, it just kind of felt like, oh, well, we don't have much money left. Let's just get a couple of trucks and, do the challenge with that. And it's like, okay. I mean, I guess, I don't know, but like, it was just a lame challenge. It didn't really feel, it felt like, really, this is the finale challenge? This is like the most exciting competition you could come up with? Like, eh. And then afterwards, it gets really cringeworthy. This is the other line. Johnny starts to cry. He's like, I'm not going to cry.
Well, I think he really liked Chelsea. I think he admired her. And she really was strong. She was a very strong person.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville. Chelsea, you. And this is, I'm not going to say it in the impression because maybe I want you guys to understand it. He's like, Chelsea, you have been a very strong female role model to your daughters. And I was like, oh my God. That was so weird.
I didn't write any of that down, but
that was so weird.
He really liked her, I could tell.
Why was Johnny so emotional?
Maybe he's just an emotional person.
He should say that because people are going to say he's a soy boy. I mean, that's some Kevin Smith type shit. Kevin Smith, he used to be like the everyman's filmmaker, and now he's just a pussy. And he cries all the time. He cries all the time. He cries after seeing, like, every single new superhero movie. He's just like, I just got out of Batman. Oh, my God. It was so incredible. And he keeps crying and crying and crying. And I'm so surprised that Safi's not criticizing this because she's a huge hypocrite. She criticized The Office because she said that Michael cries all the time. Michael Scott, she says he cries all the time. Well, how about Johnny Knoxville? He cried when Damien went home. The woman who was like, oh my God! The whole season. He cried when she went home. And now he cried when Chelsea lost. He was like, you're such a strong female role model for your kids. And like, it's just frustrating. There was no explanation. It was just like, it was weird.
Yeah, and I don't think that bad. I thought
it was weird.
I didn't think that badly.
It was weird and soy.
Okay.
It was soy, Safi.
Well, anyway.
Just like you.
That's the end of it, and I thought Ethan deserved it. I mean, yeah, it was close. It was very close, and
I'm gonna go home and throw a kegger. That's what I'm going to use the $200,000 for.
He didn't say that, did he?
No.
Why What are you saying that for?
I'm generalizing because he looks like a frat guy or something. Like, I'm gonna go home and throw a kegger.
Marco,
I can get lots of kegs with $200,000.
He did not say that at all. All he talked about was his family.
I need to buy a door. I need to buy a door.
They showed his room. He has a curtain.
My bedroom.
He doesn't have a real door.
My bedroom has no door. It's a part of my lifestyle. It's something that Machiavelli might have done.
He didn't say that either. What are you doing?
I'm doing an impression.
No. Okay, well, it's all wrong. Everything he's saying is bullshit.
But it's exactly like him, Safi.
I thought he was just, I didn't even realize he was that young. I thought he was a lot older. I was a little shocked.
Yeah, and actually, I do think it's kind of nice that a 20-year-old won the show. I think that's cool.
Yeah, but that's true. But he did have an advantage, I think, in that last challenge last week because he was very athletic and strong.
Anyone who was athletic had an advantage the whole season. And that was the unfortunate part about the show.
I suppose, but in that challenge specifically, he had an advantage.
So overall, I would still give the finale a B. I enjoyed it, it was pretty lame.
It too. I thought it was very quiet, though.
It was very quiet, and it just felt like this is exactly what I expected from this show. From Soy Factor, House of Soy, so.
So anyway, they, instead of just ending the show, they said they were coming soon. They were going to do Fear Factor 48 Hours of Fear, which sounds like some kind of special or a new season, but Marco says no, he just thinks it's some kind of special, like, Christmas time. They have, like, Gordon Ramsay will do these Christmas baking shows or something. It'll be like 4 episodes.
I don't know what it's going to be. They didn't say. They just advertised. They had a trailer. Soy Factor, House of Soy.
No, they didn't say that. They said
48 hours of soy.
It sounds like what they're going to do is it's 48 hours of fear, meaning they're not allowed to sleep, and they will have
They're going to have shock collars.
Marco put that.
They're going to have shock collars so that if they try to go to sleep, they'll get shocked awake.
Just a minute. I'll put my flashlight.
What I thought was interesting, because if you guys remember, I had to do a survey where I had to vote for what was the best poster for the show. And I think I can say that now because the show's over, at least season 1. And I did not vote for the one that they ended up using, with Johnny and all the bees. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really interesting, though, because they showed the bee thing in this one.
Yes, they said they're going to be covered in bees.
Yeah,
they're going to have another pain auction, which we saw in this one.
Why did they use that poster for season 1 and not for 48 Hours of Soy?
I don't know. And then they have another one called Evil Sushi.
Yeah.
And then another one called Haircut from Hell. So... whatever.
Safi can't get one of those anymore.
Okay, Marco, really. Let's not do that.
You can't.
Okay, that's nice. You don't need to do
Would you like to get a haircut from hell?
Marco, be quiet. So anyway, that's it. So I guess I'll give it a B+. I thought it was a little lackluster.
Yeah.
It lacked some energy. But I don't know what would have... But I think it would have been nice for all the contestants to come back and cheer them on.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I don't know why they couldn't have done that. They could have stood... I know there's only 14.
Or...
So 14 minus 2, so there would have been 12.
I think something better would be like a multi-part challenge where the former contestants can either help you or sabotage you. And what they do all depends on... like how much they liked you throughout the season, because then that would play into the Big Brother side of things where that would be the whole point of oh, well, you thought the whole season you could just screw people over. Well, now all these former contestants are going to have the decisions to screw you over or help you. What do you think of that, Safi? That would be cool.
Know.
What? Why?
I don't know.
Because that would be a payoff. There was no payoff to any of that. You know?
I'm trying to think in Survivor about contestants coming in to help, and it's the only thing I can think of. The Hell's Kitchen is the only one I can think of where they had earlier contestants come in and help the person, like, because we just watched the Kool-Aid girl from Las Vegas win.
I mean, like a multi-part challenge where, like, at each challenge, a former contestant would be there on both sides, and they could either help you or hurt you. And it would all depend on, you know, how much they liked you. That would be so much more interesting. And it would, to me, I think that would have made it a lot better.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, so what, you had to spend, well, I guess, you know, in Survivor, you really have to perfect your schmooze, and also you have to be very devious and be able to fool people. I mean, it's gotten really a lot harder than it used to be.
Really?
Yes.
Why don't you join Survivor?
So I don't know what it would do. I mean, if you were in Fear Factor and somebody was trying to jeopardize your chances,
yeah,
then what? Just because they don't like you and they just like somebody else? I don't know. That's awful.
That would be really cool.
Show.
But it would be cool because it would be a payoff to all these stupid alliance episodes and all that bullshit, and it would be like in an RPG game where, like, at the end of an RPG game, all of your choices throughout the story are reflecting back on you through the outcome of the game. You know, like Fallout New Vegas, for instance, which Safi needs to finish. She needs to play through it.
Do other things before that.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like, it would be like a reflection of, like, I mean, they could change their minds, you know, but, like, I don't know why we're talking about that so much.
Either, Marco.
Well, because you're criticizing it, and I had to defend it.
Okay, well, who knows what
Excuse me.
They have all the leeway in the world to come up with better and more interesting things.
I don't know if they would do this or not, but I think it would be really fun to have Fear Factor Jr.
Yeah.
At least one season. Try it out. Because I think that would be fun. I mean, kids need to face their fears too.
I just think there'd be so many, you know, it's just like with doing
I know.
grants. They have to have this for any children, and I'm talking about even teenagers. They have to have all kinds of special permissions, and they have to have correct paperwork. It's really hard. So I mean, just with this kind of thing, it's just a little bit. I would say it's even made harder.
It's just a suggestion. I mean,
it's just like the thing with which we don't know if it was real or not. I guess
the thing with dildo's ear. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. And, you know, if you have any comments about Fear Factor, I asked a question a while back at the beginning.
Yeah, what is the meaning of knobby knees?
No, that is not the question. I'll give it F about that person's handle on their stupid Instagram. I don't care about that at all. I don't even use Instagram. I don't care. But anyway, I didn't really, you know, I thought for her, this is Jaylene we're talking about, I thought it was nice that she wanted to support animal welfare projects, which was nice. But I mean, they're only going to get so much money.
But we're all animals, so.
Okay, you're falling into the toilet.
What? What is falling into the toilet?
It was degenerating into nothingness.
What the fuck?
He has a Patreon part to this channel.
No, we both do. We have a Patreon page.
But right now it's mostly him, and because he did make a movie, It's in black and white.
Oh, it's a short film.
And color.
Short film.
It's a short. It's a movie short. And I liked it. I thought it was a good first effort. And I thought it was nice that it was available in black and white or color. Which I think we've done this before because we were trying to figure out something it was in a Fargo episode actually. We were trying to figure out something that we were seeing, and the way it was filmed, wasn't very clear.
And then I put it in black and white, and it was a lot easier to see. And so we watched the rest of the season in black and white because it looked a lot better that way. But overall, you can find tons of bonus content on there. You can find spoiler-filled movie reviews, an hour apiece. Tons of other stuff coming soon, and that's it. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.